Already 40%? Okay, so if you have any questions, Sarah is an expert. Feel free to bombard her with questions, and you'll get all the answers needed. Sarah, welcome.
Thank you.
Please.
Cool. Thank you. You might have noticed we had some issues with the projector, so I'm having to borrow a laptop, so bear with me with that one. Thank you for having me. As Martin said, my name is Sarah Lean. I'm a cloud solution architect with Microsoft. I've been with Microsoft now since January. That's like 9 months nearly. It's been kind of a whirlwind journey. But I've been in the IT industry for 13 years now, and I've done that apprenticeship. So I'm first level engineer, second level engineer, consultant, you name it, I've probably done it, and I've probably touched the technology as well. Throughout those 13 years, I've learned loads of stuff about the Microsoft stack and how it works and what doesn't work. I've also done VMware environments. So I've got lots of experience of what happens on premise, and in my role as a cloud solution architect at Microsoft, I'm helping customers take that on-premise architecture infrastructure into the cloud and helping them on that journey. So that's what I do on a day-to-day basis. When I'm not doing that, I run the Glasgow Azure user group, so if you've got any colleagues up that way, please point them in our direction. And I'm also quite active on Twitter and a blog, and that's my address and details there if you want to connect with me, reach out. So yeah, today we want to talk about data center migrations, and as you're probably aware, lots of people are having that conversation about let's move to the cloud and let's have a look. And there's lots of migration drivers, and the customers that I talk to are kind of talking about all these different drivers. Some of them are talking about the data center contract running out. I've got a customer that their contract ran out in like June. They thought they were going to be out in June. We're now on a monthly rolling contract, so they're still having that fun. We've also got people talking about software refresh and hardware refresh, because again, it's come to that end of legacy, the 4 years, 5 years, it's starting to grow and you're starting to try and find bits for it. And the software that's running on it is 10 years old and stuff like that. So there's different migration, and everybody's got a different piece of those drivers that we talk to. The big one you're seeing a lot of people talk to, and these are slightly marketing slides, so bear with me, but a lot of people are coming to us now because Server 2008 and SQL 2008 is kind of end of life. We're talking next year for SQL Server and 2020 for Server 2008. And believe it or not, there's probably lots of organisations out there running it, and organisations with big names are running that and older stuff. So there's a lot of people coming up to us now talking about what do we do when we go end of life. Because end of life means no security patches, and that's a big vulnerability, not be able to security patch some of your main applications. Is anybody in the room still running 2008? It was a solid operating system. That was the one that I kind of grew up using, if you want to like. That was my core operating system, and a lot of people are struggling to get off of that because it has been such a stable operating system and it's been good for us, but it's now getting to the fact that it's not going to get security patched, so it's going to be a big vulnerability in your organisation. Microsoft have announced, I'm sure you might be aware, that if you lift and shift that into Azure, you get 3 years worth of security patches. So it gives you that breathing space to kind of think about how are we actually going to get rid of this operating system, what are we going to do with our business applications that are running on them. And it gives you that time to plan it into your schedule, budget for it, and do something else.
Does the same apply to SQL as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The one that probably people have missed is that offer actually extends as well to Azure Stack. So if that's an option for you guys, then that you can still get 3 years with Azure Stack. So whatever one you're using, Azure or Azure Stack, you're getting those 3 years free. And again, market slide, but it is cheaper to run it in Azure than it is on AWS. And with Azure, you're getting those 3 year security updates. With AWS, you're not, and you're paying much more for the actual running cost of the infrastructure as well. So it's one to bear in mind. You can just do that straight lift and shift and dump it into the cloud and leave it for the next 3 years and deal with it in 3 years' time, or leave it for the person coming behind you to deal with. But it is an option and it is a driver we are having conversations with customers with. Again, another marketing slide. I kind of stole this step and put it together. The migration experience is based around these kind of 4 principles: the assess, the migrate, the optimise, and secure and manage. I'm going to try and focus on the assess part tonight because that's the kind of key bit. If you get that right, you get that foundation thing right, the rest of it's easy, or it should be. Even if you're drawing a plan on the back of a bag packet, you're doing something, you're planning better than the guy that's not doing any planning. We have first party native tools, and we have people like myself that specialise in doing the migration process. So there's options there, and we have Microsoft partners as well that can specialise in doing this. So again, reach out if you're struggling. There is resources there, and later on I'll give you some links and stuff to the people you can reach out to. So as I say, we've got some first party tools available to you for each of the stage. So you've got Azure Migrate, and you've got SQL Server Migration Assistant if you're doing the data migration. When you're doing the migrate stage, you've got Azure Site Recovery, and you've got the Database Migration Service. You've also got DataBox, which is a new one. Has anybody heard about the DataBox? Is that a question, or do you know about it?
No, yeah.
So Azure DataBox is a big ass bit of kit that has lots of storage on it, and you can plug it into you can roll it into your data center, plug it in, copy all your data into it, and then ship it in Azure, and they'll copy it into Azure.
Is that for doing large scale migrations?
Yeah, so we've got like terabyte boxes, and I think it's going up to 100 terabytes or something, the one that they announced at Ignite. We've also got disks, so Azure Data Disks. So if you've got smaller migrations, not terabytes of data, but smaller ones, you can do the exact same. Take them into your data center, copy paste, ship it off.
Is there the data box that you have to buy, or Microsoft rents it for you, or you have to?
You kind of pay for the service. So I think you just put in a request in the Azure portal. Because it's limited in the UK, how many data boxes we've got, they'll assess whether you actually are needing it, or you could use another method. And then they'll ship that out to you. You get that for a week or whatever, and then you ship it back to them and you copy it into your database. It's also not going to work for some migrations because you're going to copy data on a Monday, and it's not going to be copied back up to Azure to the next Monday. So it's not ideal for the data that constantly changes, but archiving data, old data, big chunks of data you need to copy, then it is worthwhile looking at.
So when you say you ship it off, do Microsoft pick it up from you, or you have to?
You have to use approved suppliers. So it's like, I think DHL, somebody like that will come, because we've approved these guys. There's certain drivers and shipping agents that are allowed to go in our data centres.
So the security of the actual is not really 100% guaranteed.
It's all encrypted when you copy on the disk, they're all encrypted within the data box. So there's no one should be stealing it. But as I say, there's specialised guys that have been approved to enter our data centres. You may know, you may not know that humans aren't really in the Azure data centres, and you probably need a tag to get into most of them if you don't. We don't have a lot of staff in our data centres either, and the staff that are there are rigorously controlled, and they're, like, say for example, a disk in one of the servers dies, they've got so much time, like a minute or half to get from their desk to that server to replace it and then back. If they're longer than that, then they have to report why they took longer than that. So there's stringent security at that side, and that's why we have approved suppliers to courier the disk between us and you.
Quick question. DataBox, if I understand right, that's more for asynchronous migrations. Do you have anything similar for synchronous migrations?
So that's when you'd be using like Azure Site Recovery. It does that continual copy, or it's only like an hour out of date or whatever. But the data box is more for big chunks of data that you can take across your expression in your container.
Is it possible to use two in conjunction? So have sort of the bulk of the data moved using DataBox and then use the ASR to sort of update it?
Yep, you can do that. It's quite a complex process to understand whether ESR or a data box is best for you, because if you've got 100 meg pipe and you have so much data, we are finding with some customers that using ESR is actually cheaper than or quicker than using the data box service, just because the shipping times and all that kind of good stuff. So sometimes ESR is actually quicker. Data box is cool because who doesn't like big kit? But sometimes ESR is quicker, but you have to do that calculation. You don't just say, right, we've got loads of data, let's use data box. Do the calculations and figure out which one's going to be actually better.
We're finding ASR quite good because we have to negotiate with different teams about when to do the fail up and like that. But
yeah, so it's quite good that way for the ASR. So that's what we've got for the migrate stage. We've got Azure Cost Management for the optimize. Now that you probably might know that as Cloud-in. They've changed the name, so I've seen it called Cloud-in, Azure Cost Management, and Cost Management. Same thing, they've just changed the name and they haven't put it together. It's a slightly different experience, Azure Cost Management, because that's now in the portal. But of course, Cloud-in was separate. Is anyone actually using that at the moment, or tried it, or didn't like it, did you?
And it was alright, but I think I got a bit confused when I was trying to link multiple subscriptions. I tried to, because there's an option where I could move my AWS one and actually link them and get all the custom. Every time I went in, I couldn't find it. It seemed to just drop off. And for some reason, I couldn't find. I could only find, and then sometimes I had 3 subscriptions. Sometimes I could only find 2. And when I go into the option where I could look up, give me a bit more information, I couldn't really get it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit confusing for me to sort of work it out. So I just prefer going straight into the portal and just looking at the cost manually.
To be honest, that's a bit of what I want from our customers around Cloud-in. The team have taken all of that aboard, like trying to make it much better. And I think that's why they're changing the name as well, to get away from that unstable, unusable Cloud-in product and make Azure Cost Management. Certainly it's worth trying. It's one of those first party tools and it's free for a certain amount, I think, and if you don't hook in AWS it's free. So it is one of those ones to evaluate if you're looking at optimize before ditching. You don't want to spend money on a third party tool and find out you could have done it with a free tool. And then the 4th stage is secure and manage, and that's around the security centre, blueprints, your backup and your monitoring. Did everybody hear about the blueprint announcement at Ignite? Yeah. So that's pretty cool because in the past you probably get your subscription and then people create stuff and you don't know, you lose access to stuff because they've been putting R back on it and they're not giving you access to various different things, or you've got multiple subscriptions and you don't have access to all of them, or a consistent approach or a consistent naming convention for subscriptions. So what you can do with Blueprint is put it at the top and define those company kind of subscriptions. So if you always have yourself as a reader and every subscription and every resource group against every resource, you can set that at the top level, and whatever's put under that gets applied. So it's like a big group policy in a sense, and it applies that all down. So it's a management tool. It's pretty cool. It's still in preview at the moment, but it's worth checking out if you are getting that. If you're in Azure and you're getting a bit sprawl and you've got multiple naming conventions, you can define that using Azure policy and a blueprint. So it's worth checking out if you haven't had a wee look. They've got API management at the moment for it, so you can do a wee bit like that. I think PowerShell's coming at the end of the month, and CLI will be after that. So they are trying to get it to the fact that you can automate it and set it up.
Sorry. Is that an on-prem stack?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like an on-site version, but yeah. We also have third-party tools for doing the assessments. I'm not precious about what tool my customers use. If you use Azure Migrate, absolutely fine. If you want to use a third-party tool, they're all pretty equivalent. You do have to kind of pay for some of these though, and the licenses can be quite expensive. If you've got an existing relationship with one of these, or your partner has a relationship, use them. They are all much the same. I've seen some of them. Some of them keep the data that it assesses all on premise, so if that's an issue for you guys, if that's a security risk, you don't want to put data in the cloud yet, then some of these tools are probably worth while looking at. Some of them put it up into the cloud, put it up into that third-party person's cloud, not Azure. So again, there's different ones you have to kind of evaluate and look at it. But again, I'm not precious about which tool you want. As long as you guys move to Azure, I don't care. So as I say, I want to try and focus on Azure Migrate. That's our tool, and I kind of love it, to be honest. I started using it when I moved to the company in January, and I loved it because here's the big key: it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. You can use it at home if you've got a home lab like I do. You can use it, abuse it. It's free. You're not going to cost anything. And if you're at that stage in your organisation, you're not entirely sure whether you're moving, you're thinking about it, don't really know how to approach that conversation, your senior leadership tool, you can use this tool and it'll give you some feedback, and then you can have actually fact-based conversations with your leadership team on what's going on in the environment. At the moment, we support VMware full fab. You can do it. That's general availability. We announced that Ignite we can support Hyper-V workloads. So haven't tried that yet, but that's pretty cool. We don't assess standalone machines, so your physical bits of tin. We haven't got to that stage, but that's definitely on a roadmap and something that lots of customers ask for. There's not a lot of third-party tools that do that either, so it's still not something that everybody's got. But depends what you got. Have you guys got still standalone tin, or most of you virtualised with Hyper-V and VMware, or mixture, or mixture? Yeah. So it is one of the big asks for a lot of our customers. But hopefully that's not so far on the roadmap. So what Azure Migrate gives you is an assessment of what's going on in your environment. It gives you performance history on your machines. It can show you what's compatible within Azure. So as you know, you can run a whole host of operating systems, Windows and Linux, on Azure. Not all are supported though. So say Server 2003, we can run that in Azure, but it's not supported at an OS level, so if something went wrong, you couldn't really reach out to support guys. Whereas if you were running Server 2016, the guys would help you fully all the way down to the OS level. So Azure Migrate helps you understand what will run in a supported manner and what won't run in a supported manner. I've actually been working with a customer that's got an environment that hasn't really been looked after properly for a while, and Azure Migrate assessed the environment and said these Linux operating systems wouldn't run in Azure or wouldn't run in a supported manner. They said, oh, we can't move to Azure, can't move to Azure. So I did a bit of research. It turns out that operating system is not supported in VMware either, so they weren't running a supported model on premise either. so you're not really making yourself in a disadvantaged position by moving into Azure, to be honest. So yeah, it's one to watch out for. But again, it gives you that facts-based conversation, and if you've been trying to fight to get that 2003 box updated or whatever it is for ages or decommissioned, you can now say, guys, come on, can we get rid of this? Can we do something with it? It's not going to move to the cloud, and I'm not running it on-premise just because of this old bit of tin. So yeah, Azure Migrate is pretty cool. Does anyone actually use this, or?
From the dependencies, basically, the fact that you have to go install the dependency engine on top of the Azure Migrate, when you've got like 180 servers to migrate, it's a long process.
Yeah, that's big on So Azure Migrate is kind of application-based, appliance-based, sorry. So what happens when you go into Azure is you get like an OVA file. I think it's an OVA file for Hyper-V as well. Yes. And you can install that and import that into your VMware environment. And you give it some information, and it collects the information from your environment. You don't have to build the machine, so you don't have to install an operating system and put all these different patches and stuff on it. You just download that OVA and the machine's there, and run a couple of minutes for you. That only does a light discovery, which is good, and it's also bad as well because it doesn't give you the full picture. But it does mean you don't have to open your firewall to anything, you don't have to start digging about ports that you need to open, you don't have to pass local machine credentials to Azure. It uses the performance data from VMware or Hyper-V to give you that information from you. So if you're doing a light discovery, it will give you all of this information, and a lot of that's quite useful, and especially when you're trying to figure out cost analysis and understand what you need to do. The only one I've ever seen people have issues with is the bottom two, so your VM name and your IP address, which some security guys go, oh, I'm not choosing my VM name with Azure. There's minimal risk there, to be honest, guys. You know, it's a VM name and it's an IP address, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to be an IP address hidden behind 10 different firewalls. So, yeah, these are the only ones your public security officer are going to have an issue with, but again, it's a VM name and IP address. You probably mentioned a VM name walking on the tube or whatever, so it's minimal that risk. And again, if that is an issue, the light discovery option gives you all that, and it's one to give higher security guys. It's like the market slide again, but we've got a lot of people using this. It is a used product, folk are loving it, hating it as well to a certain degree, but there is a lot of people actually using it out there. So I was going to show you how to create an Azure project, but since this is not my laptop and my Azure subscription, I'll skip that. But it's fairly easy because you go into the Azure portal, search for Migrate, click Create, you give it a name, and go into a subscription. The data all goes to a US data centre, so I think it's West Central and East US. I think it's those two data centres it goes to. Again, that can be an issue for a lot of customers because their data's going to America. And some customers I work with are like, nope, not happening. But it's only that data. So if you're doing that light discovery, it's only that data that's going to America. And again, there's not a lot there that's going to identify you out against everybody else. It doesn't mean that you have to migrate your actual infrastructure to the US. You can pick any one of the Azure data centers after that, but that at the moment Azure Migrate only runs in the US data centers.
I think that would probably put off quite a lot of companies when you're restricted, you can't copy data outside of it. So that's one of the problems that we have.
Yeah, so it is a problem for a lot of my customers, but what we tend to do is fire up the project, and as I'll show you later on, you can export the data into like an Excel spreadsheet, so then you can delete the data in Azure and it's gone. So it's only there for a temporal, a couple of days time, and then you can delete it. So there's way around these security conversations, hopefully, for a lot of people. But there's not a lot of data that's going that's easily identified. Your network kind of input output. It's not the most critical data. I've got. So when you spin up that Azure Migrate appliance on your own premise, it's a 2012 box. It's still 2012, but this is the kind of start screen. You accept the terms and conditions, you put in a username and password. And as you see, it's just a simple R2012 box. It's got a valid license for 140 days, which should be more than adequate for your needs. And on the desktop, you get the run collector thing, so you just put that up. You just click on that. And you're brought into like a browser. Now, what it does is it checks its own prerequisites. You don't have to do these, but it checks that it's working for you. So it'll connect to the internet and make sure it can see like the Azure portal. If not, you may have to put in proxy settings if that's what's in your environment. And I'll just double check that the service that it needs is running, and in this case, VMware CLI is installed as well. And the next stage is pointing towards your vCenter server. So the VMware one collects the vCenter performance data. So you give it your vCenter server IP address and username and password. Don't do what I've done in this demo and give it the root username and password. It only needs read access, so just give it a read account, don't give it your root one.
What about your statistics in VMware? Do you have to keep them running for a certain amount of time before it connects them correctly?
So I think the Hyper-V one runs all the time, so it's continual collection. With the VMware one, we've got different.
Because you can turn the statistics on or off in VMware basically.
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
The feedback we've had is from the VMware one, you had to have the stats running for at least 30 days to get an accurate picture.
Yeah.
What people have not loved is that's a snapshot of that 30 days. So what happens when you add on machines or something else happens? So for the VMware one, we've got a preview as well running that's continuous deployment. You install this machine and you let it run, and then it feeds it in. So if you add So if you installed it on the Monday, the Azure Migrate collector, and then on the Tuesday you added a new VM in your environment, it would pick up that new VM and add it in. And I'm pretty sure the Hyper-V one does the exact same. But yeah, so just needs a read account, and it'll pick up your hosts and your clusters and your environment, and it shows you how many machines it's picking up. The next stage is adding in your project ID and project key. Now you get this information when you spin up the Azure Migrate project in Azure, and it's basically just a copy and paste in here, and it just shows the collector that's saying, right, I'm collecting all this data, put it in the Azure, and I'm putting it into this workspace, which is your workspace. And that's it. The next stage is it'll start collecting the data and start pushing it into Azure. I think it still takes about an hour before you actually see anything in the portal. But that data will continue to collect, and it'll be in the Azure portal within an hour. So that's the light discovery, and that's great for some people, especially the security conversation. But if you want the deep discovery, the bad news is you're going to have to install agents on your machines. And as you pointed out, when you've got lots and lots of machines, that's a pain in the bum. But what the deep discovery gives you is it takes away that guesswork. It gives you that information about how your servers are connecting. We've probably all worked in environments where we've got no documentation and we don't know how stuff's working. We decommission a server and something else over here stops working. Where was that documented? So yeah, the deep discovery takes all that guesswork away and actually kind of gives you that information that you might not be aware of or have lost because of staff turnover, etc. So yeah, it's very handy and it's pretty cool. I've kind of got a demo of showing you how to install this.
So what is the, when you do the deep discovery, what does it kind of look like, the report of that look like? Is it something you can visualize and put in like a presentation to?
Yes, it gives you like a map on Azure where you can see the dependencies between your front end application, database servers. Then when you create your recovery plan then suggests to you that you should look at your data you collect from your deep dive. And then when you do your failovers, it says where you start your database, your application, and then your web servers in that order as not to crash your application before you even start your servers.
Yeah, it's pretty detailed actually, so it's kind of worth the effort of going through it. This demo that I've got is showing you the agents. It installs two agents. So you've got the dependency agent, which does the kind of TCP information, so it shows you what ports are operating, what applications are talking to each other. So that's the dependency agent, and then you've got the Microsoft monitoring agent, which if you've ever used SCOM is a SCOM agent, and it gives you the performance data. So it takes out your Windows logs and your performance data and pushes that into our log analytics space. So I'm just. This is probably boring because you're like, why are you showing me a next install? But in previous talks, people have asked for this to be shown, so I'm kind of trying to cover all bases. The dependency agent is really quick. It's a next. You don't have to put anything in. It can be scripted, so it can be an agent. So you can do silent installs. You can roll out through SCCM, Altiris, whatever package deployment, Chef, whatever you're using. MMA agent is a wee bit more involved. If you've ever used SCOM, you'll know it's slightly more intensive in terms of the install. If you've already got the SCOM agent on your machines, you can just tick an extra box on a little tab and add in information. So that's it there. So
is this designed to run on all servers or clients?
all servers.
All servers.
Yeah. I think the MMA agent might support Windows 10 because again it's a SCOM agent, so we might do that. But there you go. You've got the options. You've got connect to log analytics in Azure, or you've got SCCM.
So if you've got it already installed, will this overwrite it? Or?
No, what you'd probably do is go into like your control panel
And then
add
add it
in a
as
different tab because it installs with two different tabs for you, so you've got one install and one Azure Log Analytics. But you need to put in the project key again to tell the agent where to put the information it's collected. I've actually got a PowerShell script that does this when I build my lab, so I scrap my lab and build it back up again, and I'm not sitting doing that. So I've got a PowerShell script that runs through them and downloads the agent and installs it, so that's the next one. So the service map, so once you do the deep discovery, it feeds it into the service map component within Azure Log Analytics. And it presents you a view of your server, and it gives you that picture, and I'll show you. And it gives it in real time, so it's almost instantaneous. I hate when they say real time, to be honest, because it's not real time. I sat there and watched it, and you can't see it in real time. But it's within 5-10 minutes. It's not 3 hours later you're finally figuring out what's doing it. The key thing to remember is that the service map component actually works on your cloud servers as well and your on-premise ones. It's not just an on-premise thing, it runs on any operating system, whatever you've got it installed on. So the service map is actually very cool. So this is your log analytics space. You'll notice it's also called operations management suite. We're very keen on giving multiple names and confusing everybody and lots of acronyms. To be honest, I think the OMS space was kind of a replacement back when we first started for SCORM. They wanted everybody to move off of SCORM and move into this, and then they found out this wasn't as good as SCORM. So when you log into this, you'll get a kind of dashboard view, and you'll see, I've only got a lab environment, so I've only got 2 machines connected here, but you can connect Linux ones as well, so it's not just your Windows machines. It runs on Linux as well. So you go in here. So you click into it and it'll load up. It is slow. It does take a while to load up. But what you'll see is down the left hand side I've got a list of the servers that it's collecting data from. So I've just got a SQL box and a plain Windows server here. When I click on one of the servers, this is the kind of view you get. So you've got the server in the middle and you've got the connections that it's doing and what it's talking to over on the other side. So you can see it's doing stuff on port 9443, which is my VMware environment I think it's talking to. This 443, when you drill into it, is actually it talking to log analytics and log into Azure, and you can see my other Windows servers talking. There's stuff going on between these two boxes. So you can see when you actually click on the box, you get a lot of information from it. It gives you like the operating system, the build that it's running, how many clients are connected, inbound, outbound connections, a whole host of information. You can see updates that are installed, updates that are missing as well. So you can evaluate whether stuff's been patched, whether it's not been patched.
What's the importance of being patched before you migrate?
We always say make it the latest and greatest just because it's supported.
I turned on a machine today, it was 468 days, hasn't been rebooted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a problem.
You're probably trying to reboot that before you move to Azure. I suppose it's more of a case of if you lift it into Azure and then patch it and it breaks, how do you know what it was? Was it the patch, was it the reboot, or was it the Azure move? And you don't really want to do that. Whenever you do a change, you want to have one change at a time, you don't want to do multiple changes because you're giving up your weekends and your nights for that one. But here when I drill into it, I can see the processes that are running on this server, this SQL box. Obviously I've got SQL here, I've got the monitoring agent, and I've actually got Azure Sales running on that box as well. And when you click on, showing the updates, so you can actually see the updates that are missing and see which ones you actually care about, which ones you don't care about in your environment. You know, I wouldn't stop moving because the malicious software update wasn't, you know.
No, sure.
If it was a service pack, then I'd be like, oh, we need to do something about this first. And here's me drilling into that connection from that Windows box. So when I click on the SQL server, I can actually see that I've got Student Management Studio running on the Windows server box, and that's why that connection is there and it's connected in. This is a lab environment, so in your production environment you're going to get much more useful data, but I'm just trying to create something to get that information for you and show what happens. You can also see I've got like an RVP bot connection running in that box as well, so you can see that information. And down, you can see it there inside. It's actually showing you like where that process is running, where I've got SQL Studio, Management Studio installed, tell me the version of the product, tell me the username I've been using to connect to it. There's tons of information there, and again, in a production environment, that's going to be very useful for you in understanding how your front end web app is connecting to your SQL database and how it's interacting with middleware, etc. I've had customers figure out that there's extra SQL boxes they didn't know connecting to the web apps. So, there's lots of information there because someone's done something they shouldn't have in your environment and not documented it. What this gives you is information about how to move stuff and how to group stuff. What you don't want to do is migrate your web app up into Azure and then have your SQL box still on premise. You're going to cause yourself issues. So it gives you that understanding that actually these two boxes need to move together, need to stay beside each other, and migrate them in groups. Is anyone actually using this at the moment? Have you found it quite useful?
Yeah, it's super amazing.
You could get lost in here for days,
Yeah.
probably looking at it and seeing what's happening.
If you had something putting data into a SQL server, but it's only running it from night or every week, would this pick that up, or is this just what's happening at the moment?
No, it collects it and it stores that data, so you can keep it for as much as you want to pay for it. When I said Azure Migrate's free, log analytics kind of isn't free, so you get 5 gig worth of data free to start with. So you can pump your logs in there for 5 gig worth, and then you start paying once you do more of that. But again, it's like 0.1 penny for a gig or something. It's ridiculously cheap. I've had customers go, "Oh, I'm not pumping my data there," and then they went to the calculator and went, "Oh, it's only going to cost me £1 a month. Right, let's just pump everything in there." So you've got performance data as well, if you need to look at that. So it does do a bit of what probably your SCOM or your SolarWinds does for you. This is all getting pushed into the logs at the back end, so you can query this and do dashboards and do some cool stuff. I think the query language that it uses is Kudos, I think it's they called it. So that's a skill to learn through. That's one for the future. But yeah, that's kind of what Service Map and the Deep Discovery gives you in Azure.
How does it map the IP addresses? Does it replicate the same IP address? If my applications are running using IP addresses, would it use the same IP address, or would it assign dynamic?
You can take your own IP addresses when you set up your Azure environment. So if you're using 10.whatever, you can set that up as your environment. Service Map can be used to help you understand your dependencies, but I've actually seen people come to user groups like this and say, "Oh, that'd be really quite cool to help me document my environment, because I have no idea what's going on." So it's not just a migration tool, it's about understanding what your environment is doing, so you can use it completely separately.
You can run it when you've already migrated to Azure.
Yep, it still works in Azure as well. So again, it's great if you're not entirely confident you've set up everything or everything's secure, but you can say it's actually not talking to anything, it's only got that one connection, not doing anything else, and show your security officers that you've done it right.
Yeah.
So now you've collected all your data, what you want to do is assess it and try and put it together. So there's the 3 stages. There's kind of suitability, whether you actually can run it in Azure and whether that's going to be okay for you. How do you size it in Azure? Is it the same as when it's going to be on-premise in Azure, or it's going to be bigger, smaller, whatever? And what's your cost? How much is it actually going to cost you every month to do this? So I've got this as a demo as well. So this is your Azure Migrate project here. So you can see it's kind of collected information about 7 machines. It's collected information about old legacy machines in my environment that I've not even got installed. Not even got running anymore. So I want to try and take that data and give me something I can use to plan my migration. So I would create an assessment, and you get different options. So here we've got, very cool, but you've got the list of the servers that you're that it's discovered and you want to kind of migrate. So I try to tell customers to do an assessment around what's talking to each other and grouping it together. So if you've got like web apps and SQL boxes that talk to each other, do an assessment on what that's going to do, because that's how you're going to move them. So understand how you're going to split this project up. In this example, I'm going to take the Win server 1 and simply the 2 box to try and group them together. So tick 3 boxes. And you can group it. So I'll give it a wee group name, but it's going to be your application name, however you're going to do it.
Just a question. Customers are still considering moving to the cloud. They're kind of not there yet.
Yep.
And because I know from my previous company, we had like a few subscription which they kind of messed around with and kept on creating multiple ones every time we went around time.
Yeah.
What would you kind of suggest? Because obviously you don't want to get into like any agreements yet until you're sure. Would you have all of this available to you like in the free?
Yeah, you can actually sign up, because log analytics may cost you if you go over that 5 gig workspace. But if you're just using Azure Migrate on its own, it's completely free. So you can sign up. You may have to put in your credit card details, but you're not paying for anything, so that will never actually go to your credit card. And so you can sign up that way. So this is where the kind of migration data comes into its own about what you can select. So it's going to ask you a whole bunch of questions. Some of them will leave at the default and some of them will actually change. So the first one here in the top corner is location. So where do you want to move your data to? Do you want to use a UK data centre? Do you want to use an Australian one? Do you want to use whatever? You pick that location. Standard pricing tier, leave as is, it's absolutely fine. You've got your storage type. You'll get, I think it's premium managed disk and standard managed disk. Again, change it depending on what you want and have a look at what the differences are for your standard and premium disks. Some applications will need premium disks because they're getting hammered all the time, other ones will be absolutely fine with standard disk. So this is why I'm saying build an assessment on what that application or that group is doing. You also got reserved instances. Do you all know what reserved instances are? Reserved instances. So it's a way of kind of bulk buying your t-shirt sizes in Azure. So you can buy them for like 3 years and it's cheaper. So in the long, it's a big expense at the start, but as you watch that kind of cost value go down, it becomes cheaper. I'd probably say not to do reserved instances at this stage, because if you don't know what sizes you're doing, then just leave that. Then you've got your sizing. You've got your sizing criteria that you'll get as on-premise, which will take identical to what it's running on at the moment. And you also get performance data or sizing performance. It's called. Do 2 assessments. Do one as is and one based on what Azure's collected for you. And then try and be sensible about it and find that right point for you. Because what you've got running on premise might not actually be right based on what it's doing. You might have over provisioned it, as we all do, or you might have under provisioned it. So do 2 assessments based on the sizing criteria. Your performance history gives you options of 1 day, 30 days, one week, and 1 month. I think it is. Remember. Obviously, if you only run your criteria on 1 day, you're not going to get a great set of data. You want to pick that 1 month or 1 week at least, so you get a good view of what that VM is doing. Percentage utilisation, leave that at 95%. VM series, pick them all, and then it picks the right size for you. Comfort factor, now by default it's at 1.3, that just adds on that tiny wee bit of extra, I want to say comfort factor, but it puts that wee buffer on top of what the sizing's doing, just to give you that wee bit of headroom in case you're a wee bit nervous about it, but you can move it down and you can move it up if you want. I tend to leave it as 1.3. For your pricing, you've got a whole list of offers here. It doesn't list enterprise agreements, so if you have an enterprise agreement in your environment, what to do is pick pay as you go and then put the discount percentage that you're getting in your EA and your Xbox, and that gives you kind of a rough deadline for your EA. Change the currency again to pounds if you're in the UK. And the last one is the VM uptime, which is days in month and hours per day. Some applications you're going to migrate will need to be running 24/7. other applications we only need to run one daily, so that can help you kind of cost estimate what you're doing. And you've got your Azure hybrid benefit, which is if you've got the on-premise software assurance licenses, you get cheaper licenses in Azure. Does that all make sense? Pretty straightforward. You can play with this, so pick whatever boxes you want the first time, see what it does, change them around and get the different assessment details. You can try and make it what your budget is. If you've been set a budget, try and change these things to understand how that's going to affect your budget. I think that is what's the So once I put all that data and it's done that assessment, it can take a while if you've got lots and lots of details, but what you get is a kind of shiny report with the donuts. So it shows you that these two machines are Azure ready. If they weren't, you get different information. You've got a monthly storage count, total monthly cost would be £280. That's quite a lot for my lab, I'm not moving it. And it gives you the breakdown of your storage as well. I'm using 2 disks, so it's going to be about 18 pounds. You can drill down into these donuts as well, so it gives you the information, it gives you different ones. So I've got suggested VM stands, I've got suggested tool for migration, because it's obviously identified the SQL box to run in SQL. It's saying, actually, let's use the database migration service to move it, let's not use ESR. It's not to say that that's the right tool, it's just what it's suggesting. So again, use a bit of common sense around.
That's migrating from SQL on-premise server to SQL instance.
Yeah, so that might not be the right fit for you, but that's what it's trying to encourage you to do. It'll drill down into your CPU utilisation and give you a bit more information as well for these things. You get a lot more useful information in a production environment, but this is just what it will give you. And again, it's picked up in a SQL box, so it's trying to tell you what to do with it. But again, don't take these as literal. Try and put a bit of your own learnings and understanding of your own environment into lifting and shifting to Azure. It should be. So at the top, you've also got that export button. As I was saying, if you're nervous about having your data just leaving there, do the assessment, put the data in, and then export it into Excel, and you can do whatever you want in Excel and start to manipulate the data that way as well. So we've seen kind of best practice trends through migrations, so I wanted to just give you a wee bit of time to do. You're driving your cultural change, so you are going to have some people that are totally with you and some people that are totally against you, but be aware of those conversations and try and tell them the virtues of Azure or the cloud or whatever it is you're going to do. You're going to come up against people that don't want to move, because they're not willing to learn. But again, you need to drive that, you need to be that champion and just keep going. Be the Energizer Bunny and just keep going if that's what you think is the right way for your company. Keep going with it. Engage your stakeholders at the right time. I've had a horrible customer. They planned their migration and they were hoping to be out of their data centre by the end of the year. So they went to the application owners of this data centre halfway through the project, and have now discovered that the guys are actually doing an application upgrade at the end of the year, so they can't actually lift it and have downtime. So their migration is now getting shifted to next year. The guys have not engaged the stakeholders at the right time, and they've waited till they have committed to a migration before actually telling the guys that own the applications and the boxes that they were moving. That's not great, guys. Speak to these people right at the start of your project. Have them on board, have them in your meetings. Talk to them, understand if they are doing, an application upgrade or a migration or whatever on their own platforms. Get those timelines in so that you can then build them into your migration plan as well. Make sure people are getting educated. Cloud's different, so don't assume everybody's learning at the same pace as you guys, or is aware of things that you're aware of. Champion the learning paths and certifications, we've got, I don't know if you noticed at Ignite, we announced Azure Learn, which is free training resources, and it has learning paths for different posts. If you're a developer, there's a learning path. If you're an infrastructure board, there's learning paths. If you're a business analyst, there's learning paths. Champion these resources as well and get people and build and get them trained. There's different ones here, like do a small pilot. Don't be moving the payroll application as your first one. You don't pick that. Pick, your intranet site or something that's going to, if it goes down and if it's not happening right, no one's going to be screaming at the door because you've not paid them. Pick the right things to migrate as a pilot.
Just move a DC first before you on cutover. You have to deploy it or cut over a DC first before you cut over any other missions.
Depends how you're running.
After site to site.
If you're doing like a hybrid and you've got like a express route between your on-premise and Azure or a VPN, you probably could get away without having a DC because you can connect back to your.
Yeah, I'll take it that basically. So.
Yeah. See that? We've got that's one of those ones that's a bit, you need to lift and shift everything, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly, like one day you're lifting and shifting everything. You're just doing it that way. A lot of customers are doing that hybrid stage migration. No, you just go for the
big bang.
Good luck. I suppose it just depends. You probably do want your DC up running. It'd just be like starting up any other site. You need the DC up running before you start moving, otherwise you're never going to be able to log in. Hope you've got the local machine credentials. But yeah, a lot of my customers are doing that stage migration. They've got their on premise and they've got like a DC on, and it's just like another site, another portal for them. As I said at the start, choose the right tools. If you're nervous about putting your data up into the cloud for an assessment, pick a third-party tool that you can install and fit it in your environment and keep that data there. But again, don't pick the free one because it's free. Look, if you have to pay for something to get you the right thing, make sure you pay for it. Don't be stingy around these things. Again, you plan it right, you pick the right tools, and you're going to get a successful migration. If you just pick Azure Migrate because you've heard me talk about it tonight, then that's maybe not the right tool for you. Could be, but chances are it might not be. Do some governance around your environments. Start thinking about a naming convention. If you call all your servers on premise after Star Trek characters, is that relevant when you move to Azure? Probably not. There's certain resources in Azure you have to have a unique name. It's all got to be lowercase and it's got to not have any special characters. Think about these things, guys, before you start actually deploying it, and then you get into a sprawl and a mess and people are just putting Sarah123 as their storage accounts. You don't want all that nonsense going on. So think about these things before you move as well. There's lots of pieces to this puzzle. I'll share these slides because some of these things are quite good to remember. So these are best practices. I'm not going to read all of them out, but as I say, I'll share them. But there's some key ones in here. There's some ones. Like I say, pick your good proof of concept applications. Don't be picking your payroll. Don't pick that one as your first one. Pick the wee ones. Build up a good inventory of what all your apps are doing, what all your servers are doing, how they all connect, who the stakeholders are, who the application owners are. So we got here. Start with the easy and move on to the hard. You don't want to be working all night because you picked the hardest application in your environment. Pick the easy one and build up your confidence and go that way. Scripting, automation. Start thinking about that. Don't do the things you've done currently. Think about how you can do it new, how you can start and stop games. If you don't use your environment in the weekends, start thinking about that. There are scripts in the marketplace and in our Technique gallery that can do this for you. Start using them, start playing with them, and see how you can save stuff. And that one at the top seems key. The migration isn't complete until you've got everything in your cloud being monitored and backed up and failed over and etc. Just because you've lifted and shifted it, that's great, but what happens when it goes down, or what happens when someone installs something and breaks it? Make sure you've got that backup there, that log analytics, the monitoring happening. But yeah, there's some good practices, so I'll show you a slide there just to
high availability as well. I think planning.
And I think that's in here. We design every app for Azure. Your high availability design on premise probably doesn't work on the cloud. You know, if you've got a VMware cluster, you've got, well, if that one goes down, it's just going to all fail over to this one. How do you do that in the cloud? And how are you designing that failover and that high availability? So think about it. You might have to do something different. This one as well. If you've done random one-time backups and put stuff in storage or copied PhDs, don't leave it there for the next year. It's going to be out of date. It's great for like the week in case you need to do go back to a rollback. But don't leave it there because you're going to pay for it in Azure. Everything you put in Azure is going to cost you. So do a tidy up once your migration's fine. You're all having a beer and partying. Make sure you tidy that up first. So there's some resources here. So we've got our migration centre, which kind of covers all what I've talked about tonight, but in great detail and gives you some videos and case studies, etc. So that's one to check out if you're having a look. This is the Azure Migrate that we launched at Ignite. It's free. There's a lot of good material on there actually. I was going through it during the week and there's actually some really good stuff in that. I learned some stuff I've totally forgotten or didn't know about. There's so much stuff in Azure that you can't know all, but it's worthwhile going through it. You get wee badges and stuff at the end of it, you know, so you can have a competition in your office of who's got the most points or who's got the most badges and do it that way. But then,
sometimes if you allow it to publish it, then it gives you more points. Which is a bit annoying because you don't really want everyone to know that you can, and you're still going through some of the stuff that you should know.
Yeah, make it an office competition and see who can win at the end of the month. You know, you can do it that way. We've got a total cost of ownership calculator, which allows you to put in all your on-premise costs and see what it would actually be against Azure and stuff. It takes a while to go through all of that, but it's kind of worth it. It makes you think about what you might not be seeing on-premise. So, you know, people might not be accounting for some of the stuff that you've actually got on premise already and the total cost of what's happening. So it makes you think about what's happening in your current environment as well. There's lots of different Ignite presentations about Azure Migrate. If you go to that wee short link, it actually searches them all and shows you them, and some of them are quite good. I'll be honest, I did steal some of the slides for some of them, so you will see some of them. But you know, there's other tips and tricks through there, so it's not a problem to check through. You can download the Azure, the Meetup Ignite stuff, the PowerPoints and the videos if you want to watch them on the train or whatever. Are you all aware of Fast Track? So our Fast Track engineers can actually help you with migrations. I think you have to be committed to spending about £5 a month to do it, but these guys are like a free resource. If you are spending that amount of money, these guys are a free resource and can help you. So, you know, if you haven't engaged a partner but you're looking at that amount of commit every month, give these guys a wee phone and have that conversation with them and see where they are. They are quite good. They are really quite good. And that's just get started on the project, you know, do your kind of cost migration analysis, find somebody to help you maybe if you need to, and start that migration project. So, my boss has allowed me to come to this and give my time to this, guys, so I'd really appreciate some feedback so that I can show that this is good and you guys enjoy what I'm giving you. Also, feedback, anything negative about what you wanted, if there's things you wanted to hear, didn't want to hear. Totally anonymous, and it's running on Azure. That's cool, Cosmos CV app. But yeah, you can just do a smiley face, a sad face if you want, and whatever.